Biggest experience that I can bring to Taiwan is maybe my years in Japan, where it was like really shock for me. On the court and off the court in Japan is completely different. Maybe this was for me the key point to understand, like, hey, I go Taiwan. So first thing that I need to know is how was Taiwan. He is the player that earned my respect more than all. My position, we talked with Jack in one moment, is like, I mean, we need to choose. So what do you think? People jump squad to play, but he said, I want to finish my degree and MTSU. I'm going to be here against the Taiwan Steelers, to Guard Germany. The most important thing that he got is really, really resilient. Mentally really tough to be accepting this and to say, you know, I want to fight for my spot. And this mentality he keeps every single day. I remember that the first year of practice, Jason Westbrook hated him because he practiced like crazy. He practiced 100%. He wanted to show, I want to play.
欢迎收看《台篮吃瓜第一品牌》，我是你的主持人 Plus League 的英文主播 Ryan。
我是民视英文新闻主播杨怡安 Stephanie Yang. Today we have a very special guest with us, Iurgi Caminos, the coach of the Pilots. Welcome, Coach.
你好，我是 Iurgi Caminos.
All right, Coach. Glad to be talking to you again. The first thing I want to ask is this last homestand for the Pilots, you'll be without Justin on this, we're recording on Saturday, and presumably for tomorrow. What is your message to the other local guys on what to focus on for the rest of the season?
Understand them that what we are going to have in the future, some of them, they didn't have maybe all the minutes that they deserve, to use these minutes to really show their levels, show how they can play, how they can be helping, but especially not having the pressure of we need to win because our first spot is completely closed. They can feel more relaxed to don't have this pressure. And I mean, today we have a good game. They really play how we want them playing, and let's see if the Sunday game and the Tuesday game, they can do exactly the same.
All right.
Besides shining on the court in the Plus League, the Pilots also recently went to ESAL and also other international competitions. Can you tell us a little bit about how the team has improved, and can you give us some special players?
First way to improve maybe is, especially here, when you repeat a lot of times the same teams, and even year by year, you know all the players. There's one moment like even you can relax a little bit. When you beat one team 2-3 times, the fourth game used to be difficult to really motivate. And the point of have something new for all the players was a big extra motivation. It's not something on me, it's on them, how they want to really work for this. And the difference of need to play different type of basketball, different type of players, teams that maybe here, a lot of teams, they used to have like one big man to protect the paint. You go to Korea, they don't have this style of player. The Japanese different. This helps a lot to be like challenging different ways to play basketball. And this helps us as a coaches that we need to prepare for something different, because finally, if the style of basketball that all the teams play is similar, you are always preparing, okay, this defense always, this offense always, and playing against different type of defense, different type of offense is the way that we have like the tool to use during the week, motivation for this to improve.
What about some specific players? Can you name a few players that really grew after playing these international tournaments?
I would say that all. I mean, of course, everybody put the eyes on the Lu Chunxian, on Justin. His spot even for the national team, playing the last game for the national team really good, is maybe the one that they put a lot of light, but Jackie, Pai, Linchen that recently was hurt, but they gave us a lot of things, and I think that they really start feeling that they can challenge more and more things. And this is for me the most important thing, is on the way they really wanted to do it better. Of course, like I'm saying, is everybody put too much lights on Justin. He deserves, he's doing really well, but at the same time he can't relax, because now people will put more emphasis on defending him, and he need to be better.
Let's go back to your origins of basketball stories, and then we can get back to the Pilots again. I actually was kind of curious, at what point in your lifetime did you pick up the whistle and start coaching? And was there a basketball player that was formerly Iurgi Caminos running out on the floor? And how did that transition work?
18. I just finished the school for us, the highest school here. I still study, play in Spain. We know that we have like first division, second division, third division. At that time, when I was 18, I was able to be on a club fighting the third division, playing a little bit. But from the beginning, I have clear that on the moment that I can start coaching kids, I wanted to coach kids. It's something that even when I was a player, I used to be a little bit, let's go to say, a little bit asshole for my coach, like saying, hey, we can do this, we can do the other, why we don't look for this player? A little bit like be helping always the team. And when I was 18, I just finished the school before it started like it's not like college, it's a little bit different what I did it, like but 4 years degree. And I tried to have the first level of coaching, and then I start coaching, another summer the second level, another summer the third level, that we need to have license to be coaching depending the level. And at that time I was studying, my summer was long because to have the third level in Spain that allowed you to be, I have the FIBA license that I have now, you need to be 15 days, 8-hour class, learning a lot of things, study, preparing videos, and I decided to do it early because I really like it to be teaching kids, and I start. My first team was under 12, after this under 14, under 16, under 18, and I start with senior, so I passed like all the levels.
Were you also a player yourself?
I stopped playing like 26 years old, and I stopped because one team called me to be assistant coach on a professional team, so it was impossible to keep playing, but be coaching at that time was a little bit the way to don't ask money at home because they pay you a little bit, 300 euros, 400 euros per month to the dinners for the weekend, to go with your friends, to save some money, I bought it my first scooter and all these things, like was the way to don't ask money at home and have like freedom. But I really like it. And one day one guy was thinking that I was able to be on a professional team, and I was assistant coach on the professional team of my hometown. But I never think on it. I never was like, I want to be professional. After that experience, I feel like, wow, it's hard, but what if I do from something that I really love it and it's a passionate job? And I always remember that I have one player that he really told me like, you can do it. He was like happy, and he recommended me to another team in another city. I took my car and I went there to start my coaching life.
Okay, well, then it begs the next question then. What are some of the most important things you learned outside of the classroom, but on the court about being a coach that you've taken into your job currently as the Taiwan Pilots head coach?
First thing that I learned, I always remember, are things that I don't like. Like when I was a player, for example, I keep in my mind one coach that he tell me too many times things like, no, do this, do the other, but I miss one shot and he sent me to the bench. And I feel like, why you talk to me if I miss one and you send me to the bench, no? So I think that sometimes the first thing is learn like what I don't like. To be professional coach, the people that teach me more by far are Pablo Prigioni and Thiago Splitter. They taught me about the vision of the NBA players, that they've been NBA players, and like this vision about like how they feel players with how the coach sometimes had to talk to them.
I know you coached across Asia and also Europe, as well as some NBA players. How has that experience translated to your job here in Taiwan?
The biggest experience that I can bring to Taiwan is maybe my years in Japan, where it was like really shock for me. On the court and off the court in Japan is completely different. It was like a big shock. I have to say like not easy, but after these 2 years there and the COVID arrived, that year at home makes me like think a lot about what the things happen and everything. And maybe this was for me the key point to understand like, hey, I go Taiwan. So first thing that I need to know is how are Taiwanese. I need to know how I can speak to them. Can I shout them? No. A little bit how I have to talk to them too, because this is something that I keep it and I like it from Julio Lamas. He was Argentina national coach, even a Japanese national team head coach. So like to the player, you need to talk from this, or from this. So depending what he motivates. And that's true that here you need to know a little bit how are the Taiwanese, what things is like, and learn a little bit like slowly how to talk. And maybe my first year in Taichung was really helpful on this before arriving to pilot.
All right. Well, somebody who can make your job very easy, how about your MVP, Justin Lu Junxiang? Interesting enough, Coach, I recall that there was a particular player that was kind of schooling the pilots at the time. He eventually won 2 MVPs. You gifted Yang Jiming a guitar as a joke and as an homage to how basketball players would dominate in Spain or in Europe, and That's how they describe. What is the gift you're going to get for Justin if he can claim that title 2 years in a row?
I mean, the situation when Amigo was a little bit like we used to say when in Spain someone is the party and they take the guitar and they play the guitar, he's the star of the party. And we have one game in Sichuan that, I mean, he killed us. So that's why I say on the press conference and he showed me at that point, like he feels like really good when this and I did the joke of the guitar. But now I'm the coach of Justin. So I'm not going to give anything. I'm going to push him to try to be better.
No gifts?
No, I mean, yeah, he have a gift. He have a weekend off because he was working so hard. But this morning he came to work out also. And the gifts are more every day. It's like on the way that I try to treat him, showing the respect that he deserves, on the way that he improves year by year on the court, off the court, even with his English, like everybody talk about that. But I don't need to give something because on this is like a little bit like, okay, yes, but this way is not over. I mean, it's still young. He need to keep being better because it's going to be maybe more and more pressure on him, and he have to be better.
All right. Well, to follow that up, was there any situation coming into the season that you wanted to sit down with him and help him out with his approach to how to treat the season? Because he's still turning in big numbers on the court, but I also get the sense that he's got a bigger voice in the locker room as well. Because there's not a lot of local veterans actually running the Pilots locker room from years past.
Today they asked to weigh a little bit like, oh, this Justin say something, and I mean, Justin is joking on the practice. But what he decided to be is take the steps of, there are different type of leadership on the court, leadership on the locker room, even leadership on the dinners, like the people that may are able to hang over or choose the restaurant. For example, in my coaching staff, we have Co that is, wherever we go ESL, he have the list of restaurants around the hotel. So this is to find everybody his type of leadership. And the type that he have is really on the court. Like he want to win, he want to compete. For me, the game that we have in Malaysia with the conditions, how even like being destroyed the body, he wanted to keep fighting is a little bit the way that he showed the leadership. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you show. And when the games are tough, he really wants to compete. And this is another way to talk. Not with the boys, it's with an example on the court.
I see. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your experience talking to other coaches? I know a lot of people are curious what you talk about with them. For example, with Coach Corner.
About basketball. I mean, especially with him because he was in Europe. Sometimes we compare a little bit situations that happen here, happen in Europe. But usually about basketball. I think that is really important. I understand that we compete against each other, but we don't have to be enemies.
You know, one thing that I was always curious about is because you also talk to local coaches as well. So I wonder if you pick up some things for them. Because my follow-up question is, you've now been in Taiwan for, this is your 4th season, and you've observed how basketball works at the professional level. I actually kind of want to shift focus to the import players. What are the complementary skills that imports should bring that really complements what the basketball is at a professional level here in Taiwan?
I mean, first talk about with local coaches is because I have a lot of respect for them. I mean, because most of them, they're really being here. Tomorrow we have Braves, and I don't know, Roger, I don't know how many rings he have, but maybe with 2 hands don't have enough. Because he was Puyang, he was Kia, he was China. So it's always good to know a little bit another ways to discover about basketball. And about the imports, for me depends on the type of team that you have. On the team that I have, I try to find players that really can understand the role that they can have. Sometimes you need your import being your star, but from my first season, we have cleared that we need to give the ball for a local, that in this case was Justin, that he was the year before the 6th man of the season. The team wanted to really bet on these new generations of players. So you need to give them responsibilities. If maybe I put in some moments players that they really take more shots, or when I draw the last play is for them, but most of the times my players know that most of the plays when the game was tough, I draw for locals. Because I think that on a long term, you need them growing. And the imports sometimes it's easy that they can be here maybe 1-2 years and move. Because finally when you are far from your home, it's exactly the same, maybe one country another. But when you are from this country, sometimes you are not thinking too much on go overseas. you feel good here, and these are the key for build a team that can be champion. That is the goal of Puyuan Pilots.
In terms of locals, can we talk about Jackie Li Jiakang? He has broke his scoring record twice. Can you tell us a little bit about how you kind of coach him, and were you surprised by?
No, I mean, I was going
record?
to say always exactly the same. He is the player that earned my respect more than others. My first season, I arrived here and I have like 17 players. I don't know, too many, and difficult to choose. And from the beginning of the season, I said like, okay, I take this 14, and Jackie was out. And even my first season, we talked with Jackie in one moment. It's like, I mean, we need to choose. So what do you think if you go Changhua to play? But he said, I want to finish my degree on NTSU. I'm going to be here. And even when the moments of the practice he was out, he started there. I want to be here. I want to be here. Sometimes even on my side with the dribble, and I want to be here. And slowly he started having on the practice more. And one day I arrived and I put a starter against the Kaohsiung Steelers to guard Jeremy Lin. And that day he saw the most important thing that he has. He's really, really resilient, mentally really tough to be accepting this and to say, I want to fight for my spot. Even when the coach is saying, I don't have a space for everybody. He decided to be here. He showed that he wanted to play for this team. He wanted to be here. And this mentality he keep every single day. I remember that the first year of practice, Jason Wasworth hated him because he practiced like crazy. He practiced 100%, and he wanted to show, I want to play. He did day by day. And this is a mentality that put him playing on the way that he's playing. So maximum respect to him.
I think the bigger follow-up is he's doubled his scoring output. So even if he might have lost out on the most improved player of last season, he still could get it now, playing just a few more minutes, but scoring at a pretty significant level for the Pilots. I feel like there's a lot of places where you got to watch out if you're playing the Puyuan Pilots.
Yeah. I would say that because he don't care. Like at that moment, he didn't care that the coach was saying, I don't think that you can play. He said like, I can play. And he was there. This is a part of mentality that if he keep it, he is going to be better and better. And mentally be tough like this is a signal that you can be a really good player and compete on the maximum level. And he's doing it right now here in Asia. It's one of the reasons that we have very good ESAL and the season that we are having on the P.LEAGUE.
In terms of import players, we can talk about Trayvon. Can you tell us a little bit about what he does well on the court?
Well, let's start with Trayvon because he was leading the team in scoring in the East Asia Super League with, I believe, almost 22 points per game. What is it that you can describe that best fits how Trayvon improves the team?
First is the tone of defense that we can have. The second and the most important is with him, we can have Lin Chen, we can have MD playing. It's really important for us have the chance to have these players that can be on this 3-4 to help our local league to grow. And especially it's a player that I think that he don't demand too much the ball. And the way that he have to be on the locker room is a little bit the same, like really like low key, he do his job. Sometimes even not having good games, he don't stop fighting. And he really match up good on this idea of the team of really like never give up and always be fighting.
In terms of the fans, I know the fans also played a big role in the success of the team. Can you tell us a little bit about the recent games and how?
The fans for me, and I think that from the first day that I arrived, Pilots, was unbelievable. I know that my beginning was good. We even tied the record of 10 wins in a row, and everybody was super excited, and everybody was talking, wow, be champion. And I was like, I mean, we cannot pass from last to be champion so easy. And we have 9 losses in a row. That even is a record on the P.LEAGUE at that moment. And the fans were supporting there. And there's a group of fans that I know their names because they are here every day. They give me a lot of things. Some of them travel to Japan, but especially in Macau, this I talked with the team, how our fans show the best way to be a team, like all together, same area, everybody orange, supporting. Fans are the best. They take their money, their free time to follow a team. So they might need to have our love also.
Were you even a little surprised that Malaysia actually showed a lot of support for the Pilots as well, despite it being a very good opportunity for their team to show out and take down a regional champion? There were even Pilots panned in attendance.
That was really surprising. behind our bench, like people orange, and on the moment that they announce our players, it's like, but they didn't came from Taiwan. They live in Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia, and they come to support us. So, I mean, really good to feel how the P.LEAGUE is able to connect with fans in Malaysia.
How has your experience been like being the coach for the Plus League?
The experience is really good. I have to say that one of the things that made my experience good is my team. The coaching staff that I have with me from the first day was really open to work. Some of them work a lot, even year by year. Okay, you are doing this. Okay, can you do a little bit more? And they really enjoy together, and this is what makes me feel like comfortable, because you know that you have around you people that really trust on what you want. They want to work together. We want to go to the same spot.
We're kind of winding things down. You talked about the day-to-day focus and how everybody is trying to pull on the same side of the rope. I think the ultimate question comes down to, at the end of the season, did you win the last game of the season? Do you get to hold up the trophy at the end? The Pilots have came close in a couple of instances, last year in the Plus League, even in the East Asia Super League recently. But in your mind, what are the final few steps that the Pilots will need to take to be that ultimate winner in the end?
Sometimes it's not about you, it's one shot can change a lot. Last year, the P.LEAGUE finals were tough for us. When I remember the game 3 in Sichuan, how a rebound, the Joseph Lin 3, and we have 2 layups that the ball is close to go in, and this can change a lot. But the real thing is, sometimes this is not on what we can control. For me, it's more on keep thinking that you can do it and never stop. One day, this is like the pound the rock. Like one day we are going to break. I don't have any doubts. If we are still there, it's going to happen. I don't think that have to be too much more. It's, of course, use the games to live situations that put you on the experience of, okay, we come from Malaysia from 2 overtimes, from a game that was close to be win with 19 points, for a game that close to be lose and force an overtime, for be 3 up, maybe not make the best defense and receive another 3 and go to a second overtime. But these are experience, because no one learn on books. No one learn on books. The biggest learn is what we have on our experience. We need to use to learn. And this is the job of a coach. Try to put the players to learn, because when there are 30 seconds left in the game's time, the coach's effect is really, really small. Are the players needed to put solutions? That's true that the players that live good experience, maybe they feel more comfortable or more secure. And the players that have less experience, for me this year is a biggest example is the Kaohsiung Steelers. They fight a lot of games, but they didn't find a way to win some games. And this mentally is a backpack that you have. But when one day you break and, okay, I know, I've been there and I won. This is going to happen.
All right. Well, going from the young, plucky Pilots to now leading the league and even taking on world-class competition, here you guys are in 2025, and we really look forward to how the rest of the season will shake out. Iurgi, thanks for joining our interview. I hope you had an okay time. Now you get to relax and prepare for tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
谢谢大家收看，我们下集再见。